Hello, I'm the FanFic Critic. I read it, you listen. Now, who remembers that big, fat, orange cat who loved lasagna? For those who have no idea who I'm talking about, I have this to say to you. Seriously? And for those who do know who I'm talking about none other than Garfield the cat. Ah man, what a great feline he was. This big, fat, lazy cat who always loved to eat lasagna. I remember watching the cartoon show when I grew up, and I loved watching it. I don't know why that cat was so entertaining to me, but I loved it all the same. And then when they came out with the movies, the CGI movies, the kind of creepy looking CGI movies, I wanted to go see them. Did I go see them? No. Have I even seen the movies? No. Do I plan on seeing the movies eventually? Yes. I'm not sure when though. But I will see them eventually. So, as you guys can clearly tell, today's fanfic has something to do with Garfield. The fanfic that I'm going to be reading is called Animal Lover by Midwich Cuckoo. It's rated T, it's in English, it's drama, tragedy, and it's John Arbuckle as the focus character. And it has 9 reviews. So let's get into the lasagna and read this story. Heavy drops of lashing rain beat loudly on the roof of the old house. To say the building was a ruin would be going too far, but it was easy to see that it had been years since the place had been renovated, having lost its initial white color and taking on a disgusting yellowish hue. The windows, not cleaned for many years as well, resembled glaucoma, the whitish, opaque tint of the eyes of a blind man. A thick layer of burdocks, tistles, and other weeds, or whatever they were before the autumn and the pouring rains had turned them into a disgusting mass of brown goo, covered what was once a well-taken care of lawn that had spread luxuriantly toward a garden. In the last shy flashes of the sun breaking through the darkness of the upcoming dusk, the thin skeletons of dead plants, their shredded leaves still clinging valiantly to the stems, despite the gusts of November wind, could easily have been mistaken by those with sinister imaginations for triffids that came to earth to take over the town, starting with this overgrown garden. People gathered out on the lawn, huddled in front of the house and listening greedily to the commands shouted by the doctors and policemen, bustling back and forth. Certainly weren't the owners of the most fertile imaginations in the world, but they couldn't resist the temptation of craning their necks to catch the sight of what was happening. Neighbors' inquisitiveness is something you can always count on in all nooks of the world, resistant to even rain, which was falling from the sky in quantities now, and to the smell of death rising from the window, open and ajar. The sickly odor found its way beneath the worn-out curtain and drowned out all other smell that could even have reached the standing neighbors from the window. Even the stench of fustiness one could expect in such a building was no match for it. It was the only smell that permeated the air, the same as the soft murmuring of the neighbors' whispers was. But for the noise made by the raindrops hitting the ground, the only sound that resonated there, in the suburban leafless that smelled of rain in inertia in the November dusk. So the old man is dead. It was you who informed the police, I reckon. A man in a gray coat stated matter-of-factly as he held a black umbrella over his and his companions' heads. The accessory shaded them both like the wings of a big predatory bat preparing to jump down on them. The bald man in his 50s standing near him wiped the raindrops from his glasses with a piece of toilet paper he found in a pocket of his heavy coat and cleared his throat before he answered. Yeah, I didn't see him for the last couple days, so I decided to take a look through the window. I thought maybe the poor guy didn't feel well, but I didn't expect this. The man glanced over at the ambulance standing near the collapsing fence surrounding the house with a gloomy look on his fleshy face. One of the doctors was in the car hiding from the rain, while the other one, who arrived with her, was at the door talking to the policeman, who seemed intent on opening the door without having to force it unnecessarily. His friend nodded. He was a good neighbor, even if he was, you know. The man's fingers sketched a circle around his head, the international sign expressing someone's not being in the best mental health, a sign everybody gathered around him understood exquisitely well, greeting it with an exchange of quick, coy smiles. Their glances met. Charming. "I'm not surprised at this," said one woman. "It was just a matter of time. I expected it to happen sooner or later, if you want to know. Since he contracted Alzheimer's, he lived in his own world. He mistook people for others he must have known in his youth. I will never forget how he always was trying to ask old Miss Gallagher out. Certainly the poor guy thought her to be someone he knew in his youth. He lived in the past. Maybe it was better for him. He thought he was young again.